de cambiar el título.
Sí, he puesto hacker.
Ah, sí.
Fíjate.
Vale. Voy a pasarle a mis compis de seguridad el enlace.
Should work. And this is the middle one. It's the laser.
Okay, perfect.
So you can point or blind the audience.
Yeah. That's the idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they say we could just wait for more
like
10 minutes.
10 more minutes. So no problem. I'm just gonna have a seat and then enjoy the coffee.
Because it's cold outside, right?
Yeah, very cold.
Yeah.
The wind kicks up and that's fantastic.
No, man, when I was flying with the plane, I was like, I see snow. It's gonna be snowing. I hope it's snowing.
Not in Madrid. Is it your first time here in Madrid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First
So
time in Europe, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So did you expect it to be like Walmart? Because we are like in a polar. How do you call that? Frente polar.
Ah, sí. No, yo sabía que va a ser frío y que en August is really when
Yeah, in August it's like
it's ridiculously
especially
hot.
July, yeah, 40 degrees.
That the city's like empty because everybody's
Yeah, but at least it's dry. It's dry, so you can
Yeah.
bear it. Yeah, it's not like in the coast. The coast is worse.
like in Miami.
I like in
Like in
Miami.
Miami, right.
Yeah, I actually went to Miami in August once.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's a humid time.
It was cheap. I understood why. Yeah.
Explore the swamp.
Oh, I didn't get to the swamp.
Well, in August you don't want to. In the winter it's actually quite nice.
But is it because of the heat or because of the mosquitoes?
Oh
Or?
no, well in the winter it's nice because it's cold. There's no heat. It's proper weather to go see nice things. But yeah, August is a story.
Maybe I was thinking alligators, crocodiles.
Yeah, they'll show you those big boats out near the it's fine.
Yeah.
There was even a bike ride trail. And crack over there.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
But they are used to people. Oh, yeah. See.
And I mean, they're fine unless they're hungry. So.
They tell
Okay.
here that you have
Not
alligators
worry, that's
coming.
all.
He had quite an adventure coming in. Like he was able to arrive just a few minutes before we're starting here now.
Yeah, Daniel told me that you got you came here from London,
Yeah.
right? Something like that.
I missed my first flight. That was straight to from New Jersey to Madrid. So then they had to book me. I'll give you that.
It's right there. It's
Yeah.
LPR get and A3. Yeah, all capital.
No, so then I got it to London, and then from London, oh my god. And then from here, the metro over here.
No,
My
Alex,
phone wasn't
when
working.
we finish the meeting,
I couldn't get in contact. Like, I have
we have a big rough.
I know where it's at.
27 bitcoins.
That's a good one.
Oh, dude. That's a fortune right there.
Remember in 2011 the price was 30 bitcoins on the
Exactly,
CPF.
yeah. We did a CPF in Defcon, and it was $30. 30 bitcoins.
Yeah, because a dollar a
So
bitcoin.
that was what, $300,000. Nobody could sell it.
Make sure that flag is removed off the game.
Actually, I've been thinking that when I left it, because I'm gonna go back and pull that Bitcoin, whatever is in there, that wallet, I want it. Oh yeah, I want it.
Because I think in the game it was a message like, contact the game admin and they'll send you this amount of bitcoin.
Right.
So change that message. Like, hey, this says you owe me 300 grand.
Right. No, I think it's one of my blood servers. That should be fine.
Oh, okay.
picture with your stuff in the background
Yeah.
before? Yeah.
Before you start.
Maybe a long conversation. Nice. You work in SEC or?
No, I actually like I do cameras and
He's an old hacker friend of mine since like
Oh, really?
10 years old.
In New York? New York too?
14 years.
no, man.
Miami. What part of Miami? Shit. Cuba?
Colombiano.
Colombia. Okay. Good.
Bueno, nací en Canadá. Madre
Right,
colombiana,
okay.
padre americano.
Oh, wow. So why would you take off from New Jersey?
Oh, because that was the connecting point.
Oh.
So
Oh,
to
wow.
go to New Jersey.
But you never been to meetings?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, what's that, Henry?
I think I saw him once.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Our bad, he was there.
Oh, he was? Okay, cool. Awesome, man. Awesome. You can always. We have a meeting on the 2nd.
Oh, okay.
About it's a Pi Day. And we're gonna bring Raspberry Pis and everybody's gonna like do stuff with it. Like what can you do with it? Talking about Raspbian and shit like that. Yeah.
He's been running the mining game for the last year or so.
You mine?
Because like my experience on mining ended in 2012, but he's been keeping up with it ever since.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I started back up like 2 months ago.
But you're active and running.
Yeah.
You know what's up.
Looking forward to it. Cool, man. Maybe you guys should get this talk at the conference.
Might as well. We got time to. Might as well.
Yeah, because it's going to be very hot by then. You think the federal government will seize all Bitcoin?
Look, well, they did that in China, right? 5% of all Bitcoin transactions out of China was before the ban. 20 the ban.
Really?
When has a commodity being seized by government ever made it valuable?
Right.
It's like any commodity. You're gonna make Bitcoin as valuable as like weed or cocaine now?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. True. You see what they did in California? They just legalized all the edibles and stuff like that.
I did not.
But it's like you can't do anything. Like you can buy drugs, you can buy with alcohol. I think they say you can smoke and that's it.
Because they want people pass it.
If you find music, give it one.
Okay, sure.
Vamos a decir que
Yo hoy estoy de vacaciones. De hecho, literalmente estoy de vacaciones. Who wants to use the hands-free?
Yeah, no,
It's right here. Like that. So, yeah, right there.
Just put it on.
No sé si conocéis la empresa.
Like that? Yes.
Aquí todos habéis venido la
And
primera
I
vez.
used to, it's very thin, so like does it goes behind like that. Okay, gotcha.
Bueno, pues nos dedicamos, somos una empresa de desarrollo de software, ¿vale? De productos.
Okay.
Tenemos
Like
varios
that?
productos, cada vez vamos teniendo más.
It's
Cada vez
just
vamos teniendo más gente. Hacemos desarrollo web principalmente,
Cool, thank you.
no solamente desarrollo web. Con lo cual todas las tecnologías relacionadas con
Right now
el backend y demás,
the sound is muted.
pues
I'm going
estamos
to
contratando de todos los perfiles, también de seguridad, o sea, para desarrollo de aplicaciones de seguridad, penetration testing, gente que quiera dedicarse a análisis de seguridad y demás, estamos interesados en equipo distribuido, remoto, disponible, demás, ¿vale? Por favor, alguien que sepa de seguridad. ¿Vale?
Nosotros estamos preparando una nota.
Pues echad el currículum, ¿vale? Y los demás también, lo que pasa es que de eso tenemos más. ¿Vale? Muchas gracias, yo os dejo con la gente del Meetup. Gracias por venir.
Bueno, primero agradecer a la IFARRED por el sitio, la oportunidad que nos habéis dado, muchas gracias. Me llamo José Luis Avia, estoy con Daniel Meri, que somos cofundadores de tanto del Test Business 3.0 como de Hack Madrid. Y nuestra idea es tener una comunidad abierta para todo aquel que quiera participar en este tipo de negocios, ¿no? Y participar también en el futuro desarrollo de gente que quiera trabajar en estos temas que están tan demandados hoy en día. Entonces, agradeceros a todos el venir por aquí y espero que quedéis satisfechos. Yo prefiero que Daniel introduzca a los ponentes, estamos de lujo esta noche y que sirva para todos.
Bueno, lo primero es que mañana a las 10 aquí en Differine,
continúa la fiesta de seguridad. La presentación va a ser acerca de por 127, su origen, su presente, su futuro, y mañana se suma Rod Soto, además de Alex y Henry. Bienvenidos. Welcome to Madrid. Thanks for coming. Y vamos a seguir, y hoy el tema es el Bitcoin, blockchain. Las cosas que están sucediendo, que no sabemos si son buenas o son excelentes o malas, pero algo está sucediendo. Forks, diferentes puntos de vista, y acá estos dos compañeros expertos en esta historia nos van a intentar dar sus puntos de vista, lo que nos va a ayudar. Muchas gracias por venir, y Alex, Henry, please.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for coming out, everyone. Our presentation is entitled The War of the Crypto Worlds, and we're going to be discussing the variations and the different changes that have come across within the cryptocurrency marketplace within the I would say within the last year, but we're also going to talk about how it's kind of evolved since the beginning. And just a bit about us. My name is Alex Hyde. I'm the president and co-founder of Hack Miami, which is an information security group out of South Florida, and I'm also been a crypto researcher probably since when Bitcoin first came out. I've been following the developments. I've just found it quite interesting. It's caused quite a paradigm shift in the way the economy, in the way the future economy is going to be handled. And by day, I work at a startup in New York City called Security Scorecard, and it's a vendor risk management firm that specializes in analyzing all the vulnerabilities on the entire internet and then assessing them to a company with a letter grade. And I'm here with Henry Warnell.
Buenas. Sí, yo me llamo Henry Warnell. Entonces yo trabajo en Miami. Yo hago sistemas de seguridad, de cámaras, networking y todo eso. Y entonces me he metido más en el Bitcoin mining últimamente. Y entonces sí, vamos a ver en todo lo que podemos hacer con eso.
Cool. And just to kick things right off, so the Bitcoin Civil War, all the forks, the splits, what does all of this mean, and what does it, and is this going to be a good thing or a bad thing going forward into the future? So to begin, we'll just start off with some clarifications of terms, because these terms all get thrown around, and these acronyms all get thrown around. It's important to understand what each one means. And so when we're talking about BTC and Bitcoin, that's the original implementation of Bitcoin itself, the Bitcoin core protocol that is currently today, I think it hit $10,800, something around that. And when it came out, like all these coins, they were fractions of a penny. Bitcoin Cash is this is the first major fork that emerged from within the Bitcoin Civil War, quote unquote. And the Bitcoin Civil War is a term that's being thrown about within the community itself, referring to a schism within the developers. And we'll be going into detail on that. And Bitcoin Cash is the first fork or split of Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin, and that happened on August 1st of this year. And most recently, Bitcoin Gold forked in November of 2017. So this is a lot like a stock split. So when and also SegWit 2, this was a proposed fork that was going to come about and then never did. So on each of these times that it forks or splits, the developers and the miners have to come to an agreement to accept it, to process it, and to work with it, and they have to believe that it's a viable asset within the economy. SegWit 2, no, it didn't come to that consensus, and it was thereby canceled out. And each of these are proposing to solve problems that are inherent in the Bitcoin protocol that have existed since the beginning and aren't ideal, but it's the way that they've developed, and whether or not it's truly a bad thing is yet to be determined. But developers have decided to move away from Bitcoin and create Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold, in order to solve some of these issues. So what's the issue? What's causing the civil war? So Bitcoin is very expensive to send now. At the beginning, Bitcoin, one of the advantages of it was less than a credit card transaction. It was less than a PayPal transaction. It was less than a wire transfer fee. That is not the case anymore because Bitcoin is now so incredibly valuable. The protocol and the algorithms within the protocol have not caught up or adjusted to the current market value because it was unprecedented and it was never really built in for that purpose. So when you send a transaction now, the percentage of Bitcoin that is being used for that transaction is a significant amount, much more than you would pay with a credit card or the 1% on a credit card or the 2% on a PayPal. So, for example, if you're wanting to send 1 Bitcoin to somebody, which is a $10,000 transaction, if you send $10,000 to someone through a wire transfer and someone 1 Bitcoin, it will probably cost you a fraction of a Bitcoin, but that fraction of Bitcoin will probably be worth about $70 to $80, maybe $90. So it's 3 times as expensive as the wire transfer at the current moment, but it has the advantages of things like privacy or instant transfer. It has the advantages of things that Bitcoin are inherent, or has the advantages of things that are inherent within Bitcoin, but it is now expensive. It is no longer the cheaper alternative to merchant processing that it once was. And Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold, and even SegWit, it was attempting to solve that issue by lowering the transaction fees. And Bitcoin is also very slow. So if you want to send a Bitcoin to someone, it takes 6 confirmations within the blockchain for that Bitcoin to arrive. And if you haven't given a very high transaction fee, if you said, well, I don't want to pay the maximum transaction fee because that's way too much money, let me put the minimum transaction fee, it will take sometimes up to 3 days before the coins arrive to where they're going, if they arrive at all, because the minimum transaction fee doesn't have an incentive for the miners processing transactions to move it through the network. It will just hang there and eventually bounce back to you. So these are 2 big issues that caused a lot of people within the development community for the Bitcoin core and the mining community to split off and make Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold as these alternatives. And at the beginning, people weren't believing in it at all, and the market itself has pushed back on that belief, because Bitcoin Cash, before, I believe when it launched, it was something, it went up to $30 or something like that, and now it's gone up to $1,600 per Bitcoin Cash, and now it's about $1,400 per Bitcoin Cash. And Bitcoin Gold is also started. There's not really a lot of enthusiasm behind it, and now it's into about $300 per coin. So regardless of what position you have on the Civil War, or what coin you think is best, if you got any of them, you're ahead. If you got in and started participating, you have coins, and that's the end of that is the most important thing. It's the accumulation of cryptocurrency and actually having the currencies themselves. It doesn't matter what the fiat value of it is. The fiat value is oftentimes arbitrary and pinned to all sorts of different things that change by the minute. But at the end of the day, everyone wants the precious numbers, which is the solved algorithm of the public key, private key that a cryptocurrency represents. And right now, developers are disagreeing on the best way to handle the issues, and that caused the schism. And the schism caused the Civil War, quote unquote, and that is why we have these splits and all these different altcoins and forks within the altcoins. And so, is this a good thing or a bad thing? So, it's a good thing if you had your Bitcoin in a private wallet and you were participating in Bitcoin and you had just Bitcoin in cold storage or in an offline wallet before the fork, because when it's split, you would then have both of those coins. You would have Bitcoin Cash and the original amount of Bitcoins, and when you spend them, it's two separate blockchains. So your number of cryptocurrency has doubled, and the value is arbitrary and pinned to the marketplace. But in all intents and purposes, they're all rising. So the people who have made had some of the biggest gains are those who are just having cryptocurrency, storing it, and forgetting about it. And then they'll read the news and say, oh, it's split. I have more money now. And that can't really be a bad thing. And then even after the split, buying in right when they're starting out, once that consensus is gained, there's really only one direction for a lot of these to go. And for those who see it as a bad thing, a lot of times those who missed out on the advantages of the fork, they were storing their Bitcoin in an online wallet or in an exchange provider, where that's kind of the wrong way to go about using cryptocurrencies to begin with. Cryptocurrencies are supposed to be self-managed. The moment you send them to a company to manage in a web application, they're no longer your Bitcoins. You're trusting a company just like you're trusting a bank. And so companies like Coinbase or any of these other major exchanges, when the fork happened, they shut down their trades, and then they waited for the dust to settle, and then the users would have one or the other. So oftentimes the company will get the benefits of it. They'll get both, but they'll only give the users the one coin that they're deciding. So it's a good thing if you have your own coins. It's a bad thing if you're trusting a third party to manage them for you, because the third party is only going to look out for their own best interests and not for yours. So more good things, more diversity within the cryptocurrency marketplace. All the different altcoins that are available, from the first altcoin of Litecoin to all the weird ones like Dogecoin, Faircoin, Purecoin, they're still around. They're still worth something, and each one provides a bounce point for the different types of for a different arbitrage opportunity. Some are more profitable than others at different times. Some are a train wreck, and those train wrecks can be profitable. It all comes down to the research of it. And what Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold have done is they've brought these solid altcoins. They've brought two new altcoins based on the original Bitcoin blockchain that are guaranteed not to go anywhere, because as long as Bitcoin's around, Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold will be around, as well as other forks that are trying to solve the problem of Bitcoin. So anyone who has Bitcoin now will be able to benefit from potential forks going forward in the future. And that also holds true to many of the other cryptocurrencies, which we'll go into in a bit. So these although they're new and there's a lot of controversy, they still hold more promise than a lot of these weird ICOs and penny altcoins that are popping up and disappearing, because the gains on these are massive and based off the original Bitcoin concept, and those aren't going to go anywhere. And the dust hasn't settled, so the gains are promising, but the volatility is guaranteed to have essentially there are going to be people who are losing, and it's when it goes down that's the time to buy it up. And the name of the game is patience. And those who are day trading with strategy will do well. Those who are gambling will not. And a lot of this huge value has been exploding from the corporate interest in blockchain technologies. So blockchain's a buzzword now, but what is a blockchain? It's just a decentralized database. Think Mongo, MySQL, MSSQL, all those standard centralized databases that store data that people hold on their own servers. Now the blockchain distributes that across a bunch of different nodes and centralizes it. Or keeps it decentralized, but aggregates it essentially. So the fact that the Bitcoin blockchain proved that there is a tangible, auditable digital transaction record for every transaction going back to the history of the coin back in 2009. Every single transaction is logged, where it's going to, where it's going from, who sent it, how much, when, and for what. The fact that has become what's known now as a digital ledger. So the blockchain is what's going on now, And once the corporate enterprise world starts jumping on it, you're going to see the word digital ledger start to replace blockchain, because this is kind of known as experimental, whereas digital ledger is going to be considered the go-to enterprise version of this concept. And Ethereum is heavily being used on this, and a lot of the tokens that go on top of Ethereum. And these are some companies that are openly going and advocating for it. Some of them have even created consortiums for things like they call it like the Digital Asset Group or the Digital Ledger Research Center, and they'll create these things, and then they'll facilitate blockchain technology. So Toyota is looking at the Ethereum blockchain, or potential implementations of an Ethereum type blockchain, to track mileage and car statistics for the purposes of insurance. JP Morgan, very interesting, because they are heavily involved in investing in digital ledger startups and digital ledger technologies, and they're also very heavily involved in Bitcoin. And when their CEO came out talking against Bitcoin, saying Bitcoin's a big fraud and all of that, anyone who had been researching JP Morgan and knowing their position said, like, oh, they're trying to pump the market down so they could buy it up for cheap. And it worked. They did. He put out the press release saying Bitcoin sucks. It crashed, and he's like, yeah, sell it. Yeah, that's right. That's good. It's all mine now. And it was a shrewd move, but it's an unregulated marketplace. No laws were broken, and those who were researching ahead of time read that statement and laughed, and then watched as everyone panicked, and then they took advantage of the buy off too. And the Citigroup and Chase, they're interested. These are essentially just creating. These three corporations are interested in creating digital blockchain technologies and currencies, both for internal payment systems, insurance purposes, very similar, and also with interest similar to JP Morgan. And as time goes on, the list grows and grows.
Let me jump in for a minute.
Yeah, go for it.
And then also all these companies, what they want to do is that since right now Bitcoin is literally a free market, the price on it is controlled by all the individuals. It's not controlled by just one large organization. They want to control it because this gets out of their hands. There's no way for them to make money, and things are happening quicker. So then that's one of the things that's going to be happening now, and this is where we're going to see the war between the different coins. Is because all these coins, they're going to want to try to take over one. Segway, when it got canceled out, because it was a lot of people were noticing it was a direct attack on Bitcoin to try to take it over. So when they canceled out, all the people that were behind that jumped into Bitcoin Cash. That price pumped up to $2,400 in a month. So anybody that had any Bitcoin Cash at $300 at that month made a bunch of money when it pumped up all that way.
And and to that point, the reason SegWit was considered a direct attack on the Bitcoin network is because SegWit is short for segmented witness. So right now, the entire blockchain has to confirm all 6 transactions. With segmented witness, they were saying that only portions of the blockchain would have to do that, and that would allow things to process faster. But when the vulnerability that's introduced is when you only have a portion of that blockchain or a fragment or certain nodes confirming certain transactions, that makes the attack surface much larger, and the ability to compromise and cause fake confirmations is greatly increased. And that's a bit back onto the reason segmented witness was no good, but the main agenda for enterprises and corporations is a concept of an audit trail, an audit trail going back to the beginning of time, and that's what these blockchains have provided. And when it comes to taxing and regulating, it's a dream for them, and they're working along to get that going. And crypto anarchists do not like this. So this is antithetical to the original process of Bitcoin. The original white paper, the concept of anonymized marketplaces for the purposes of transactions outside the world of government analysis. That's the reason cryptocurrencies took hold, and the fact that this recent evolution of corporate interest, it's not to be unexpected, because like any technology, it can be used for multiple purposes. And at the end of the day, cryptocurrency, the word crypto, encryption, the purposes of encryption is it can be used to anonymize things, or it also has the signing and integrity features, so it can be used to identify and authenticate. So Bitcoin uses all of these different concepts to it anonymizes in the sense that you can run it through Tor, but it's not anonymizing things in the sense that you can obfuscate the transactions. The principle of Bitcoin is one of the core attractive purposes of it is that it's so everything is so concrete through the digital ledger, and that is exactly what corporations are trying to do. And Bitcoin's not perfect for that, which is why they're trying to build their own through Ethereum and related type of blockchain technologies. And the market is responding to that movement as well. So there are new generations of cryptocurrencies. These are three, probably the more solid and profitable ones. These have differentiated on Bitcoin in that they use different, each one uses a different encryption protocol, but they also have the feature of being able to anonymize the sending address. So that shoots the concept of the auditable ledger right in the foot. And even with things like Bitcoin or things that can be tracked, converting them through an exchange into these and then bouncing them around can obfuscate as well. So there are many cryptocurrencies that do this, but these are the three ones that are solid and not going anywhere. So Zcash is, I have to look up these prices again, but each of these are worth a few $100 right now. I think Monero might be a little under 100 to be something like, again, they were within the dollars or $20 just a few years ago. And
yeah, Zcash has been fluctuating between 3 and like 4, and Monero's been like 170 to like 2.
It's gone over 200 then. Oh, okay. So yeah, the last I checked on Monero, it was 80. The $100 was the high mark, and you're saying that it popped to 200. And these are all new, but they're not going anywhere. And one of the ways to track these types of anonymized cryptocurrencies that have these principles of anonymizing sending addresses is by watching dark markets. So once dark markets adopt these currencies, and dark markets are defined as websites on the Tor network that are usually selling illegal goods. Most of the time it's drugs. But once you see that they are accepting a new type of cryptocurrency, chances are there's a reason, and there's so much economic activity that goes through those marketplaces, it ends up becoming a core component of it. And that's kind of what happened with Bitcoin too. The Silk Road was one of the one of the main hubs that handled most of Bitcoin transactions in the early days. And then once it got shut down and the coins distributed, we're in the current world that we're in now. And so these are the kings of cryptocurrency from my research of today. These are the big ones that are solid, not going anywhere. And I purposely omitted Bitcoin Gold because there's a lot of skepticism still with Bitcoin Gold. I don't think it's going anywhere personally, but there's a lot of people in the community saying, "Oh, the wallet has been updated in so and so time." It has its own issues, like any of these, like any open source community project would, but it's still very early on. It's less than a month old, so I can't list it as a king coin when it's still that new. And Bitcoin Cash is probably the newest one on here, but it's popped the 1,000 mark, so that's why I felt confident to add it. But we got Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, Dash, Zcash. Having a diversified crypto portfolio of these coins even if you put $10 in and then just divide them up among these, or if you put $100 in, whatever each cryptocurrency is divisible by so many. Each Bitcoin can be split into 100 million Satoshi coins. So there's no minimum when it comes to the amount of holdings that a person can have, and diversifying among these and just holding them and forgetting about it, there's really no way to go wrong. And you don't have to put everything in. Just put $10 in. This stuff is going up by 1,000, 2,000%. Still worth it. And the concept of altcoins versus tokens. This is a very confusing issue that isn't clear to a lot of people. So I wanted to put this reference up here, and I'm going to make these slides available. I'm going to post them on my Twitter account, so you can download the slides afterwards. This is a really good resource that explains the difference between these two concepts. So an altcoin is basically anything that is an alternative to Bitcoin. All these forks, all these alternative blockchains, all those different, anything that's not Bitcoin but is a cryptocurrency is an altcoin. And anything that's a token is essentially something that can go on top of a cryptocurrency. So a token is oftentimes tied to a cryptocurrency. It can be tied to several cryptocurrencies, and something happened. Try it again. Might just need to. Yeah, might be on that side. There we go. Cool. Thank you. So, so to wrap up the discussion on tokens, these oftentimes can be generated on top of coins, and it's a very automated, simple process. There's a lot of times there's token generation as a service platforms. If you there are services where you can pay a few dollars and they will write your token for you. This also falls into the concept of smart contracts and whatnot. And a lot of this is outside my realm of expertise, but I think it's very important to understand, which is why I provided the masterthecrypto.com blog. They do a great job of breaking it all down. So I'll leave that up for anyone who takes a screenshot. And so at the end of the day, how does one earn crypto profits in 2017? And I refer to crypto, and I specifically say crypto profits because I'm not talking about the fiat value of the coins. It's the value is having the solved equations, which represents the numerical value of a coin, and the market is always going to be fluctuating on it, but they're always going to be worth something. So the low risk, and these are all intended to be profitable concepts at varying levels of risk. So at low risk, you have mining, either purchasing, and we'll be going into details on how to do mining shortly. So either by purchasing gear or purchasing a mining contract from somebody, fairly low risk way of that you're going to receive coins, and you'll normally earn your investment back from mining within 3 to 6 months. So whatever you spend on mining equipment, it will be earned back in 3 to 6 months, and that is whether or not you're spending cryptocurrency to buy mining equipment or spending fiat to get mining equipment. If you're properly doing it within 3 to 6 months, you will break even on your investment, and most people, if they're saving, they will do way better than just break even. And also converting small amounts of fiat. So the way we discussed earlier, just throwing $10, $100, $200 into a coin or two Essentially spending the same amount on Bitcoin that you would on you're just going out for beers or coffee on a weekly basis. It adds up, and it eventually just becomes a small piggy bank, except the value of that piggy bank will exponentially grow over time. Then there's also the concept of selling legal goods or services. Everyone in this room does something that somebody gives them money for. Everyone. And it's just a matter of convincing the person who gives you money for whatever it is, say give me crypto instead. And the more people are involved in that process, that's how cryptocurrency grows and becomes valuable. So by selling services or goods, an e-commerce store, consulting, anything, that's a low risk way of accumulating Bitcoin that is guaranteed to be profitable. And then diversifying in the core cryptocurrencies. So having if you're converting small amounts of fiats and diversifying them again amongst those core low risk I call them king coins. If you're keeping your holdings in those split, you're going to do well, because even when one drops, others will raise, and they're all balanced against each other in the marketplace. And the most important thing is patience. Accumulating them, putting them on a hard drive or a thumb drive, or printing out your private keys and forgetting about them, looking at it in a year or two. That's the most profitable, least risky way of doing it. Then you have medium risk, so crypto to crypto arbitrage and day trading. So as we said, all those different coins are bouncing between each other, and there's thousands of new tokens and thousands of new altcoins, new ones coming out on a daily basis, new ones shutting down on a daily basis. Some people treat it a lot like penny stocks, and they will either they will trade fiat to these altcoins, or they will trade crypto to crypto just to balance those markets out. It's much more predictable than the stock market. It all definitely has patterns that can be analyzed, but at the end of the day, there's a risk. It's essentially you have to create a trading strategy, adhere to it, and there's a chance you could be wrong one day, and it can be quite profitable, but you can also lose a lot. So that's why we consider that medium risk. And then high risk. So you have margins and option trading. So with margins and option trading, it's you're betting with money you don't have, and if you're wrong, you can owe a lot or lose a lot, and if you're right, you can do very well. But again, that's the same with any type of equities or derivatives or commodities trade. It's best left to experts in that field, and it's essentially just a form of gambling, but with a bit of strategy. And then for legal risks, and ICO is also would also consider as high risk, not necessarily because of legal risk, even though that's starting to change as governments are starting to not like these. But they would have a risk as the same as margins or options trading or investing in any strange penny stock. And from the standpoint of law enforcement risk, fraud, theft, and botnets, this is a huge emerging vector within 2017. So with botnets, we're seeing things like the Mirai botnet, or anyone who has a botnet of more than 500,000 machines, instead of renting them for DDoS, they'll have it mine Monero all day, because Monero is a CPU coin, and a lot of these new coins, you can mine them with CPUs. So people will they'll use their existing botnets for instead of spam or keylogging or credit card theft, just have them mine crypto, make way more money, and it's a lot safer. So that's been going on. In fact, there's the biggest trending type of malware infection within the last year has been cryptocurrency mining, stealth miners. It's exceeded spam, it's exceeded keyloggers, because there's a lot of risk when it comes to doing financial crime. If you're just using someone's CPU cycles and and generating coin with it, chances are no one's going to notice, and at first. And then back to the concept of ICOs, there's incoming regulation, and then there's a lot of fly-by-night snake oil type stuff going on in this world, and it's high risk. These are all tokens based off of Ethereum. Every time you see an ICO, an initial coin offering, it's a token based off of Ethereum, 90% of the time. And then, as we discussed earlier, dark markets. So places like Silk Road, rest in peace from 2011 or 2013. And then now you have places for just like in the real criminal world, when one main spot is taken out, you'll have 10 other ones pop up. And that's where we're at now. There are multiple dark markets, each one spinning up by the day. The two that just got shut down within the last year was the Hamza marketplace in Alpha Bay. And the administrator for the Alpha Bay marketplace ended up dying in prison before his trial. So it's again a high risk venture. And then there's standard pyramid schemes, HYIP and pyramid schemes. So these have been around before cryptocurrencies, but these are so before cryptocurrencies there were standard e-currencies, Perfect Money, Liberty Reserve, eGold, Peckinix. Those things are still around, but they're dwarfed by cryptocurrencies now. And those have always been popular in the world of high yield investment programs. That's what HYIP, high yield investment program, or also known as a pyramid scheme. Give us $10,000 and we'll give you $200 every week until it's $20,000. It's the best deal, you can't lose. And it's oftentimes illegal, and they all end up running with the money. And so again, that's a high risk venture. And so this time I'll pass it off to Henry to talk a bit about mining methods of 2017 and where things are. Back when I was mining, I would mine Litecoin from in the year 2014. I was into Litecoin mining, and when I got rid of the equipment and sold it off, I figured the graphics cards and stuff would now be worthless, but turns out they're not. And there's a lot to be said about what's going on in the world of mining. So take it away.
Ok, entonces bueno, voy a dar esa explicación en español. Hay ciertas palabras grandes que si yo me trabo, entonces por favor me tengan paciencia. Entonces sí, lo que yo he empezado a ver es que con el mining, especialmente con todos los precios subiendo de todos los coins, está empezando a pagar las tarjetas de video, pagar muy bueno. Como tú tienes los Nvidias, como digamos el 1060, también el 1070, el 1060 está pagando como $2 diarios, y el 1070 está pagando como $2.50, y entonces otro que está pagando muy bien son los AMD Vega 64s. Esos sí están haciendo de $4 a $5 diariamente. Ahora, por cada mining rig, sí hay un problema, que es que con drivers, con ambos AMD y también Nvidia, hasta 8 tarjetas, y sobre eso de cada uno. Entonces tú puedes tener 16, 8 de Nvidia y 8 de AMD, pero ya después de eso, ya entonces yo estoy tratando de buscar una forma para arreglar eso, para poder tener, porque están saliendo motherboards de 19 canales para las tarjetas, entonces metiéndole 19 tarjetas por cada máquina. En esa forma es menos, cuesta menos, porque tocas comprar menos motherboards, menos memoria, y menos hard drives y todo eso. Pero entonces otra cosa que yo estoy también mirando es expandir las ganancias por máquina. Entonces no únicamente haciendo el Bitcoin mining, pero también llenándolos con discos duros para poder rentar el espacio de los discos duros a cloud services, y así uno empieza también a ganarle sobre los discos duros. Y también hay otro que es haciendo como VPNs. Entonces the one that you were telling me that that they pay you from the bandwidth.
Oh, that's it hasn't launched yet, but that's Promether.
Yeah.
Promether, yeah.
Entonces cuando ellos salen, entonces hay otra forma de ganar, pero usando el bandwidth del internet que uno tiene. Entonces para maximizar. Y también otra cosa que yo estaba mirando es que también, digamos que Bitcoin se explota y ya no deja, y uno no puede hacer dinero a través del mining. Entonces también que uno puede hacer es que cuando digamos uno ya tiene una granja de digamos 50 máquinas de digamos 100 tarjetas de video, entonces también uno puede rentar rendering processing. Entonces la gente que están usando, que es arquitectos y todo eso, que necesitan que sus dibujos sean rendering, pero ellos no tienen las máquinas y todo eso, que hay muchos lugares alrededor del mundo que necesitan esos servicios, y también así las máquinas no llega al punto que uno dice, bueno, me toca venderlas todas, pero no, todavía se puede seguir. Y también importante que lo demás de lo más más mining rigs que hay más oportunidad que se pueden tratar de ¿cómo se dice? Controlar todo el sistema, porque entonces ya más de esos que van que van saliendo en las manos de individuales, entonces ya entonces hay más copias del ledger y todo eso a través de todas las máquinas. También yo también estoy haciendo como el day trading un poco, pero con el trabajo es un poco difícil. Entonces, pero también si uno ve lo que está pasando con Bitcoin, él está subiendo. Sí, él baja, pero él nunca baja menos de lo que él estaba alto como hace un mes o algo así. Entonces él sigue subiendo y siendo volatile en ese sentido, es un chance bien excelente para uno también ganar dinero, pero también si uno no tiene cuidado, puede perder mucho dinero también. Una cosa que se puede usar, que hacer mejor, es que en vez de uno poner todo su dinero en Bitcoin y sacándolo todo, es haciéndolo por porcentajes, por 20 porcentajes. Entonces estás subiendo Bitcoin, entonces tú dices, ok, voy a sacar, pero voy a dejar un 20% en Bitcoin, y saco por si acaso Bitcoin no terminó de subir. Para mí me pasó eso hace poco, que cuando yo salí en 9.600, yo seguí mirando y seguí mirando que llegó hasta 11.000, y yo pero si tenía con ese 20%, entonces uno no se siente tan mal, todavía sigue uno ganando dinero. Y también para sacando en esa misma forma, uno va sacando de 20%, entonces uno va teniendo muchos pools que uno va utilizando porque de un golpe es la forma más malo que uno lo puede hacer, porque así sí definitivamente ya saliste, no estás, sigue subiendo, perdiste oportunidad de hacer más dinero. Y también con el mining, porque hay dos formas, como si uno empieza a utilizar las ganancias del mining para comprar más equipos, también uno empieza a perder la oportunidad que lo que uno minó hoy, que digamos que fue $2 hoy, en digamos 3 meses que ha subido el valor, dice, oh no, realmente ese dinero que yo nunca saqué de Bitcoin, salió que gané $10 ese día, en vez de los dos. Entonces sí es bueno también uno sacar todas las ganancias que uno hace con el Bitcoin, con el mining. Otra parte importante es con cuál piscina uno usa para hacer mining. Ahorita mismo yo estoy usando NiceHash. Me gusta NiceHash porque ellos cambian qué diferentes monedas que ellos minan. Cualquier moneda vale más para minar.
That's nicehash.net, right?
NiceHash.com.
.com, okay.
Y entonces con ellos ellos empiezan la moneda que vale más para minar, eso es lo que ellos usan. Entonces uno va mirando que va cambiando los different algorithms que están mirando. Entonces a mí me gusta mucho ellos, pero también hay otras opciones, hay otros mining pools también, como con el Bitcoin Gold. Yo también me entré a un mining pool para el Bitcoin Gold, para empezar a minar algo, para tener algo de Bitcoin Gold, porque yo sé que porque lo que va a pasar es que se está explotando y entonces va a llegar un momento que sí se va a usar como un alternativo, como digamos del dólar, porque como el dólar se usa mucho globalmente y todo eso, yo espero que el dólar se caiga, oro va a subir, y si se adapta el Bitcoin, entonces Bitcoin va a subir también. Pero también no va a ser únicamente uno de las monedas. Puede ser que sean 5 a 10 diferentes monedas que distribuyen el valor. Ahora, digamos, el dólar se quiebre y Bitcoin se coge ese útil. Si eso pasa, Bitcoin llega a ser $1 millón por Bitcoin. Porque ahora, no creo que va a pasar en esa forma. Lo que yo creo que Bitcoin va a absorber una parte, Bitcoin Cash absorbe otra parte, Bitcoin Gold, y se va a usar como digamos 20, 10 y 5. Para transacciones bien grandes se va a usar la que está valorado lo más grande. ¿Sí, señor?
Sí, lo que estás comentando es una pieza clave. ¿Qué diferencia hay en banca de inversión cuando yo entrego dólares y me dan acciones de IBM? He perdido el dinero y eso va subiendo y nunca entro. Conceptualmente el Bitcoin es un nuevo instrumento financiero.
Sí.
Ahora, que eso sea para que Trump y los americanos cierran el billete verde, yo no me lo creo, porque no tiene que haber un fiat detrás. Pero cuando un americano, un taxista de New York, se gasta $1.000 en acciones de Oracle, ya ha salido fuera, tiene un papelito, tiene una transacción, tiene un registro, eso va subiendo, va bajando, entra en el mercado secundario y negocia. Conceptualmente el Bitcoin es un instrumento financiero. La parte que me tienes que explicar es por qué Estados Unidos va a perder su billete. Eso es lo que no entiendo.
Es que el dólar realmente no está trazado por nada valor, únicamente por el petróleo. Eso es lo que le está dando y hace que el dólar sea usado globalmente. Ahora la cosa es que, porque realmente el que pone el valor es el gobierno, o ni siquiera es el Federal Reserve. Y entonces como la gente se están dando cuenta que, porque el Federal Reserve es una institución, y el gobierno le pide a ellos plata y se lo dan, pero con un porcentaje y no se puede pagar para atrás. La más gente que se empieza a dar acuerdo que el dólar nada más tiene realmente el valor que los dice el gobierno de los Estados Unidos, pero como Bitcoin, eso es algo más, eso es un mercado libre. Todos son los que participen en Bitcoin son el que le da el precio.
Oh, yeah, so, and I think that, yeah, what year was that when we did that? Yeah, so it was like, I think it was like 2014 thereabouts, right? Yeah, so we did a talk on Bitcoins, very, very similar to this, but in the 2014 context of things, and we did it at DEF CON, and in the front row was someone from the Federal Reserve, and when he started asking questions, we anticipated him saying that Bitcoin is the worst thing ever because we can't tax it and because we can't control it, but it was the exact opposite. He said, I cannot wait for this to become a standard. This is going to be the best thing ever. We're going to be able to control everything. We're going to be able to track the spend of every dollar across the entire blockchain and enforce taxes for that. Oh, this is the best thing ever. And it was quite interesting to see that. And then on the opposite side of the fence, when China recently banned Bitcoin or banned ICOs. Before the China ban, 5% of all Bitcoin traffic came from China. After the ban, 20% of all Bitcoin traffic came from China. So when in the history of mankind has a government restricting a commodity ever devalued it? It always does the exact opposite, and that's kind of what we're seeing with it. But it's also a new untested field where this valuable commodity is by nature a paper trail. That's what the valuable commodity is. But we got a bit off from the from mining, but
Entonces sí, entonces para atrás con el mining. Y entonces sí, uno puede empezar a hacer muchas máquinas y utilizar parte de las ganancias de las máquinas para hacerlas crecer. Y porque lo que yo estoy trabajando ahora es para hacer un Bitcoin farm. ¿Sí?
Una pregunta, ¿qué determina que el Bitcoin vaya devaluando o vaya creciendo su valor?
La gente comprando y vendiendo. Sí. Sí, sí, lo que yo estoy haciendo, bueno, en Miami, que voy a coger un warehouse y voy a empezar a llenarlas con Bitcoin mining rigs. Sí, con máquinas. Y entonces, y empezar a hacer más.
And you're doing it like a community effort too, right? You're getting
Yeah.
several different miners to all throw into to the warehouse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Like basically, the Bitcoin communities can that's another very tangible thing that they can do other than just having meetup groups and discussing possibilities. Doing things like that is a way to actually turn it into tangible earnings.
Una pregunta, Henry.
Sí.
Aparentemente para minar con Bitcoin necesitamos cada vez máquinas más potentes con mayor poder de cómputo hasta llegar a los 60. Pero por ahí leía que para minar con Ethereum podíamos utilizar prácticamente, no diría máquinas comunes.
Ajá.
Entonces mi pregunta es, cuando tú hablas de ese factory de Bitcoin descentralizado, minado, es decir, tú piensas ir cambiando en distintas monedas para minar, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Altcoin, Bitcoin, o tú fundamentalmente vas a minar un tipo de moneda.
No, sí, lo que vale más en el momento. Porque también hay con los Bitcoin mining rigs hay dos tipos de máquinas. Hay ASICs mining machines, que son procesadores que son específicamente para un algoritmo. En China se ha llenado muchísimo eso para los Bitcoin, para específicamente minar Bitcoin. Yo tengo, por eso me gusta NiceHash, y usando las tarjetas de video, ellas son versatile, ellas se pueden cambiar diferentes tipos de monedas. Si quieres hacer Ethereum, si quieres hacer Bitcoin Gold, lo que tú quieras, eso sí es lo que uno decide. Por eso yo uso nicehash.com, porque ellos regulan eso. Entonces ellos están mirando cuál moneda vale más, empiezan a minar eso y a mí me pagan en Bitcoin. A mí no me pagan en la moneda que se está minando, pero terminan pagándome con Bitcoin.
¿Hay mucha diferencia de rentabilidad entre el minado en la nube y el minado con tus máquinas?
A mí me gustan las máquinas porque las tengo, son físicos. Cuando uno empieza, sí, porque también eso es un mining pool también, lo que hace cogiendo mucha otra gente que ayuden y que entren al mining pool.
Sí, eso te iba a preguntar. ¿Tú tienes tu mining pool propio?
No, estoy usando NiceHash.
Estás utilizando el de NiceHash, eso es lo que entendía.
Sí.
De todas formas, la cuestión no es cuál es la que más vale, sino la que tiene más dificultad en ese momento.
Verdad.
¿Vale? Los algoritmos de dificultad suben y en un momento dado sí puede ser rentable por la dificultad, aunque sea por el precio.
Sí. Pero también otra cosa lo que hace NiceHash también es que ellos venden el processing power. Entonces también ellos hacen mining contracts. Y entonces eso también determina lo que ellos pagan por moneda y también por cuánta gente escogen hacer querer un contrato por cierta moneda. Le sube el valor.
¿Está en la nube, digo, digamos, el minado se hace en la nube o se hace, digamos, en tu máquina, es una aplicación que tú te bajas y...
Sí.
Está en un intermediario entre los pools de minería y la gente que quiere contratar el servicio. Entonces, como intermediario que es, él determina cuál es más rentable y en este caso, si él tiene un pool de minado, a él le va a dar su comisión en Bitcoin y tú que eres que has contratado el servicio, pues te van a dar
Sí.
Tú aportas tu máquina si quieres.
Lo que pasa es que en el minado de Bitcoin ocurre mucho que si hay mucha gente en el pool, minan más. Porque se une esa fuerza de cómputo. Entonces, por eso todo el mundo va a Naija, hay una página web donde salen todas. Pero más pool sea, más fácil mina. Y pues claro, por eso él también pues, lo recomienda ya para privado y obviamente ya tienen el 20% del minado del Bitcoin y muchas.
Tiene más del 30%.
Es decir, que el NiceHash sería una especie de Uber de factoría de Bitcoin.
Sí, pero también lo que ellos hacen es que ellos mismos, ellos te venden la procesador de tu computadora a otra gente también. Y entonces ahí es donde...
Aplicación que hace transacciones.
Ajá.
Perdón, he perdido el tema del hardware en los últimos. Las Nvidia, ¿cuál es el tamaño directo de RAM que puede procesar cada core o cada CPU o cada tarjeta? ¿Y cuál es el tamaño donde yo puedo meter datos para procesar? No, pero ¿cuánto? Pero no,
Bueno, dependiendo en el algoritmo, porque hay diferentes algoritmos que necesitan más memoria. Como Dagger Hashimoto, esa necesita...
de rendering. Al final esas tarjetas hacen rendering.
Ajá.
Yo en el rendering, ¿hasta qué tamaño le puedo meter que vaya haciendo una instrucción contra cuál es el tamaño de hardware? Digo, si no, nada, ¿no?
Esos específicos no me lo sé todavía, sí, porque no he llegado a ese punto.
Two questions. One for you. We have been talking with the Chinese guys that they, after the ban of the Bitcoin, they say the government is improving and developing new for the people. You have some news about it?
I don't really I don't really know about the details of what's going on. The statistic I got, the statistic about the 5%, 20% came from an economist named Gerald Celente. So it was a quote, but I don't have direct I don't have direct knowledge to speak to that.
What did you say about Neo?
Oh, the Neo coin. Oh, yes. Okay.
They are trying to promote it, and all the Chinese guys say that even the government is improving, and they told us, hey, change to Neo because our government is trying to...
I wasn't aware that they were supporting it. I thought it was I thought it was the opposite, where they were like cracking down on all of them. But I guess it would make sense that they had, if the government has their own ICO, then they would crack down on all the rest. And there's also another one called ADX. Have you heard of ADX? So a lot of times when I hear about Neo, it's like they're talking about ADX too. I think ADX is for ads, and I'm not sure what Neo is for, but that's quite interesting. I hadn't considered that angle, that the Chinese government might be behind those, like they might be supporting those, which is why there's a push down on all the others.
Yeah, because for example, these days the guys from Neo, you see them with pictures with the big guys in the government of China, and they're trying to block Bitcoin, but it's because supporting Neo, so
okay. Yeah, so it's like a Mr. Robot thing right now going on with like the e-coin versus Bitcoin. Wow, so that's a real thing. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that.
And another question for you is, do you have any margin about kilowatts per price per kilowatt that is profitable to be mining? Because for example in Spain, I have been talking with all the miners, mining people in Spain, and they said the price per kilowatt is not profitable here, but I don't have like the range to see. For example, in my country, energy is so cheap, you know. But I don't have like, for example, you tell me $10 per kilowatt is profitable or lower than that or bigger than that.
Well, like in Miami, there's hay tres diferentes braquetas de electricidad. Entonces, residencial son 12 centavos el kilowatt, comercial son 9 o 10, y industrial están 6. Entonces, el warehouse mío en industrial para coger menos, el precio menos de electricidad. También otra cosa que estaba pensando, porque se ha abrido muchos mining granjas en Greenland, porque en Greenland tiene el frío, entonces uno no necesita aire acondicionados, Y entonces también tienen el geothermal power plant, que eso es sí, y entonces ahí están cogiendo también la electricidad bien baratas. También otra parte en los Estados Unidos es en Washington State, porque tienen muchos dams. Sí, y entonces como tienen tantas, le está dando también la electricidad y es bien barata.
And to do the calculations, NiceHash has a calculator on it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so nicehash.com, you can input all the information. It will tell you exactly the price per kilowatt. Yeah. It has, and it will even tell you what video cards, how much you'll get per video card per kilowatt type stuff. So it's really detailed, yeah.
Porque con lo de las tarjetas de AMD, como esas están haciendo de 4 a 5 dólares, esas se pueden hacer en unas partes donde sí la electricidad un poquito que está cara, todavía esas sí te pueden hacer. Pero los 1060s, los 1070s, esas sí no, ya va a estar, no va a ser profitable a ese punto. Por los Vega 64 y todo eso que están jalando tanto, sí.
Alright. And so I guess what does the future hold on all of these? So my prediction is there are more splits likely on what I call the king coins. So Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin. I'm expecting one for Litecoin actually, which would be quite interesting. But are they going to be soon? Are they going to be years from now? Who knows? But we've seen two big ones. There's the precedent has been set for the future. There's going to be volatility. Volatility is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. This means that there's activity and that people are buying it and that there's volume. And with that comes crashes. Crashes mean time to buy. Corrections mean things are adjusting, hold on to it, and recoveries also just hold on to it. And again, it's patient and the wise. So just research and hold on to your cryptocurrency and accumulate it. And be smart about how you're going to play with it if you decide to. And losses, they can oftentimes for the reckless and greedy. If you go because with crypto you just have to hold it and you'll be okay. And here's some resources. A lot of the information from the slides that we've been talking about came from here. Want to add on to here as well, nicehash.com and coinmarketcap.com and CryptoWars with a Z. CryptoWars.com. Do you know any other websites?
Another good place for info. Well, the Dollar Vigilante.
Dollar Vigilante. Yeah. So there's a YouTube channel. The Dollar Vigilante YouTube channel. The host of that has a lot of really good information on the Bitcoin Civil War, and he talks about strategies and what to do if you're thinking about getting into cryptocurrency or if you already have them. It's actually a really good channel and definitely worth checking out. So that's the Dollar Vigilante. And that's all. Thank you for attending. Yeah, I guess if there are any follow-up questions about anything, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So in order to see how the Bitcoin has raised $1,000, this is a lot of intelligence behind. This is not a China, it's not a lot. This is a big power doing preparation. Do you know, based on your information, who or what the group or who is taking in order to make like this, and after that, as Yahoo raise and fall down?
Yeah. So
I came from the wholesale market, and I know how to make a paper, an instrument, and how to raise, and after that to make that.
So like who's pumping it for the dump, basically? That's a very good question. I mean, I have my own theories, but it's I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I'd be comfortable speaking to them publicly because it's just a best guess to, I'd basically be slanging mud saying they're gonna, so and so company is doing it. But what has been observable and reported on, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange just listed Bitcoin within the last 2 weeks, and that caused a huge spike. And there's a bunch of hedge funds now, specifically New York-based hedge funds that are buying into Bitcoin in massive quantities right now. And from that, all of their customers who manage the hedge funds are also buying in from it by word of the hedge funds. And over the Thanksgiving, over the holiday weekends in the United States, Coinbase.com received something like 200,000 new users overnight, and it was a direct result of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange listing and a lot of these major hedge funds buying into it. And they're the type of hedge funds where you don't know, no one knows their names, but they control the majority of the economy. Those types of groups.
My last question: what do you think about, for example, that the señor hizo una pregunta muy válida, that is that the Bitcoin is becoming like a reserve value and not a transactional coin, that was the meaning of Satoshi at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you see in the future that, for example, a lot of Venezuelan people is investing all their investment in Bitcoin because the government is blocking dollars. So everyone is using it as a whole value, as a reserve value, but it's becoming harder. For example, I am from another country and I use everything in Bitcoin because if not, I have to pay a lot of transactions and download the money to a bank here in Spain. But it's so difficult now to transaction, and even Spain is regretting that thing because at the beginning they have like cashier ATM.
Yeah.
But now they don't have. They have a calle cerrada.
Oh, they shut down there's no Bitcoin ATMs around here?
I think they closed it.
Interesting.
And they have like calle cerrada, that is where they transaction a lot in Bitcoin, but like the locals are being closed in the transaction. So what do you think about the future of becoming more like a reserve value and not transactional?
I mean that kind of harkens directly back to this slide here, where essentially this is essentially what's going on. It's expensive, the transactional fees, not just the transactional from bank fees, but even just from Bitcoin to Bitcoin, the protocol itself is charging a lot. So I think that's going to be addressed by these Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold. Like, one of these is going to be the reserve, and then one of these is going to be the microtransaction. That's just kind of that's what it feels like it's doing to me anyway. And we were kind of talking about this the other day, yeah. You were saying that Bitcoin would be like, if people fleeing wealth would store their Bitcoin, and then people who were just buying coffee would use Bitcoin Cash and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. And that basically, yeah, like I was saying earlier, you have different denominations. Like kind of like a good example is Litecoin. Litecoin is a very stable coin. You don't see too much volatility in it until lately, where it's gone up to like 100. But even there, it's still holding within $10. It doesn't do massive spikes. It doesn't do massive crashes either. So there'll be that's what I'm predicting, is that there's going to be a coin that's going to be for purchasing power, because yes, what you're saying, people are using Bitcoin as a store of wealth, that way to just hold their money into it, and they're just sitting on it because they seeing it go up and they want to make money. So either is that going to be like a handful of coins, it could be like 1 to 5 coins, or it could even be like 20 coins, because now people are because Bitcoin is being used kind of like as a stock market. There might be a section of altcoins that will be kind of for that. The
transactional brand of coins,
yeah.
I mean, I guess the short answer to that question is it's still working itself out. It's probably going to be a technical solution that's yet to be developed, and is going to cause a lot of back and forth and more schisming and more altcoins in the meantime. And all right, any other than that, well, I guess we will wrap up. So thanks a lot, everyone. We had a great time. Thanks.